People who go on to hit £10,000 plus months all have this one trait in common, and we've seen people with zero background in business build seven-figure businesses and by doing that, you guarantee your success.
And that's when it can all go wrong, and it stops you from ever achieving your goals.
And there are certain people who eventually will become successful, and it's kind of inevitable, and that's all because they Welcome to the Dropship Unlocked podcast. I'm Lewis Smith, the founder of Dropship Unlocked, and with me is our client success coach, James Eardley. Now, when we're not recording podcast episodes or running our own e-commerce businesses, you'll find us helping aspiring entrepreneurs launch their own high-ticket dropshipping stores. So if you're ready to build your own 6 or even 7-figure online business, then head over to dropshipunlocked.com/start. Now, sit back, relax, and let's unlock your potential with the Dropship Unlocked podcast.
So in today's episode, we're going to be talking about something that we believe is far more important than any tactics that we could talk about or strategy. And that is the mindset of people that set up an e-commerce business, and talking about the successful mindset of our most successful members. Because over the years, running Dropship Unlocked, we've seen what sets apart the most successful members from those that don't succeed quite so much. It's not luck, it's not experience, it's not even timing. It's the way that they think. And this is something that is repeatable. And so we can share that with you today so you can adopt it and give yourself a much higher chance of success. So, Lewis, when you think about the key mindset of someone that you would immediately be impressed by and you'd immediately say they're going to go on to succeed, what is the first key mindset trait that comes to mind if you see it from somebody and that would immediately indicate that they're going to be a success? What would that be?
Yeah, I often think that it's when people view problems as just challenges. They don't view them as roadblocks that they can't get past. They come into business expecting that things will go wrong, because they will. That's inevitable. You and I both know that. There's things going wrong every single day in our businesses, and our job as the owners of those businesses is to just fix them and to keep moving. And so when those things do go wrong, the people that I see with almost this inevitability of succeeding, they adapt. They don't panic. They approach the setback with like a level of emotional disconnection. And they're kind of like, well, okay, they're almost curious about the setback. And it's like, what can I learn from this? What's the lesson here? How do I make sure this doesn't happen again? Rather than kind of taking it to heart, taking it so personally and having that like feeling of, oh, why is this happening to me? It's not fair. The universe is conspiring against me. So they kind of are able to remove themselves from the business and just look at the scenarios that present and think, okay, my job here is the puzzle solver. You know, I'm here to like solve the challenges. And so they play the long game with this. They understand that every challenge along the way, every inevitable challenge that you will face is just one part of a much bigger journey.
Yeah, it's such a powerful belief to have, and to frame things when the things go wrong as just a challenge that you can overcome. Hugely important. And I keep get reminded, no matter what level of success I get to, I'm always reminded that in order to get to the next level, it's something that's to do with the way that I'm viewing it in my mind that's going to hold me back. And it's a nice belief to realize that if you had the mindset of the person you wanted to become or of the success that you wanted to achieve, you would already be there. So you have to keep shifting and growing. And that's the whole point, I think, of life in general, is actually just growth and improving yourself to achieve the goals that you've got. And to boil that right down, I love that first mindset trait that you've had there, Lewis, is how quickly, essentially, can you adapt to something that's not gone to plan? How quickly can you accept this is the new situation, and now I'm going to push on regardless of the circumstance to take the next action to get to the goal that I'm looking for? So any tips, Lewis, for somebody that struggles with that in order to reduce the amount of time they spend wallowing over a difficult circumstance in order for them to push on and take action that's actually going to get them into a better state?
Yeah, well, they just have to have faith in the process. It's not so much about seeing the results come up and knowing that you know, that they are doing the right thing because they got the end result immediately. Like, that doesn't often happen. It's usually a bit of a delayed gratification. It's a longer process. But the people that succeed commit fully. They don't do half steps. They know that the model works. They've seen that it's proven. And so they just need to do their part. They control the controllables, and they kind of focus on the actions that get them there and enjoying those actions and like relishing the responsibility and the challenge of those actions, not the outcome, because the outcome is the part that comes later. So instead of obsessing over the first sale, for example, they trust that it will come if they follow the right steps. Now, that doesn't mean just manifest and, it will eventually happen. You have to do the stuff. You have to, get the suppliers, upload the products, optimize the website, do the steps, the actions along the way. But eventually the outcomes start to come. And then before they know it, they're like, oh, I got 4 or 5 sales today. And, and then on to the next thing. So it's like, they see that those outcomes come as a result of doing those actions. So they're always focused on the next set of actions to optimize and grow the business. The other thing is that they'll come into this as uncertain as anyone who comes into building a new business for the first time, if you haven't run a business before. But the people that I see do best with this are almost able to absorb and draw confidence from other people around them. And that's why a community works so well. It's because there's this like osmosis effect of like, okay, well, I don't yet have the confidence or courage to do this because I have never done it before, but I can borrow that confidence. I can borrow that belief and draw that in from other people. And so I think hearing success stories shows them that it's possible, even if they haven't met those people. I mean, that's why we have members featured on our podcast, why we've done interviews with some of our highest sale revenue members, to be able to kind of inspire other people as to what's possible. And we often get people joining us that when we meet them in person at our live meetups, which we do every quarter, they come up to us and they're like, do you know what? It was the episode with Adam that got me to join, or it was the episode with Neil that finally got me over the line, or I'd been thinking about this for ages, but when you interviewed Suraj, like that was it. I just thought, wow, if he can do it, I can do it too. And it's funny, it's like all these people shared their individual stories, which allows viewers and listeners of our podcast to kind of absorb and share in that belief, so that even if they haven't done it themselves yet, eventually they are ready to step up to do it because they've seen so many other people achieve what they've only dreamed of to that stage.
Yeah, it's so powerful when you see what's possible for somebody else. You can internalize that and realize it's possible for you as well. For me, Jared was my inspiration. Watching his success interview before joining the Dropship Unlocked Masterclass, it showed me what was possible, even with somebody that had never done their own business before. They were able to get to these incredible heights, doing 300K in the first 6 months of this business. And I could see myself in him. And then that gave me confidence in myself to jump into the masterclass, do the same actions, and also get good results because I followed the process and I followed what other people had achieved already. I think there's 2 ways, isn't there, Lewis? There's some people will go when they see a success story. Some people will feel jealous and envious, and some people will use it as inspiration. But how do you approach it? And how would you suggest people make sure that they view it as inspiration rather than getting envious and feeling annoyed?
Yeah, I guess it's a reframe, isn't it? Of like, before you even listen to the conversation, before you even view the video, you have to have the right frame of mind going into it. Like, are you watching this to hate on someone that's doing well? Like, if so, don't watch it. If that's your like default position, then just don't watch it. But if you are someone that kind of wants that inspiration and that belief, and you're like kind of slightly on shaky ground, you see yourself as a business owner eventually, you'd love to have a location independent business, you'd love to be able to leave your job and do this online full time, but you've just got no one in your life that you know personally that's done it. Well, you can look to James and I through the podcast, through YouTube. You can, believe us if you want to. But I think actually sometimes it's better to believe someone who is in the same position as you, came through the program and then made it work, because it's just more powerful. And I think sometimes our members are able to resonate more with people who took the same step that they're about to take and then made it work. And it's just, I think it's very difficult. I mean, if it would be amazing if we could have like a physical conference for everybody that's considering doing this, to actually meet us and these people in person and be like, look, they are real people. They are actually doing this full time. They're not a bunch of paid actors or AI generated robots or whatever. Like, we are real. But sometimes I think it takes like listening to one of those episodes and then listen to another and be like, this is the 5th, 6th, 7th person I've heard that's done this. Like, I can see myself and commonalities in all these people. Do you know what? now's my time. I'm going to step up. I'm going to be the next one that they interview on the podcast to share my success story. And that is awesome. When you hear someone who said that and then joins, like yourself, like joins the program after hearing an interview that I've done with someone, and then is the next person we're interviewing, it's like, it's gone full circle. You believed in yourself enough to step up. You borrowed courage from someone else that was already ahead of you, but you importantly took the action and you made the leap and you jumped into the program and you actually did it. Now you have the fruits of your labor. You have the business to show for it.
No, it's so inspiring to watch and hear from people who are coming on the podcast and then they quote a previous episode that they watched. And it's like this beautiful full circle moment that they were inspired by someone and then they'll go on to inspire somebody else. We're doing quite a few interviews at the moment with members. And for that reason, you can choose to watch this. And I believe it is genuinely as a choice. You can choose to watch somebody succeed and decide to feel like there is something different about them or there's something special. And all you're doing is harming yourself in telling yourself that you can't achieve that success. Or you can choose to be inspired by someone's success, realize that they've just taken a set of step-by-step actions to get there that you can replicate and therefore achieve the same success. It's a choice of how you view it. One's going to empower you to take those actions and one's going to disempower you and tell you that you can't do it. So I think make the right choice, and clearly the people that are most successful make that decision to be inspired by others. Now, speaking of real stories and the best way to approach building a business, we thought no better way, other than just Lewis and I talking about it, we've invited one of our members on, Ashley, onto a podcast episode to talk about how he approached the program and the difference that Dropship Unlocked has made for him. So Lewis, do you want to tee this one up?
Yeah, so this is a new kind of feature, new segment, new bit that we're going to do for the podcast. And we wanted to start featuring some of our members from all different stages along their journey, not just the people that, had surpassed many millions in sales, because I think sometimes it can feel somewhat like the jump to get there is so significant. The conversation we're about to share is just a short conversation we had with one of our members, Ashley, because we want to share stories of members at all stages along their journey. Ashley's a little bit earlier in his journey, but listen very closely to the mindset and the way he approaches the program and his approach to business in general on the topic of mindset from today's podcast episode. So let's dive into it. Hi, Ashley. Welcome to the podcast. Great to have you here and looking forward to hearing a little bit more about how you've approached building your business and the impact that Dropship Unlocked has had on your business. So I guess to kick things off, it would be really interesting to know from a Dropship Unlocked member like yourself, what role has learning played in your journey so far?
So firstly, thanks James and Lewis for the opportunity. It's great to be on the podcast. So I mainly joined because I wanted to get suppliers. That was the key, and that is the key to any business. The method DSU uses it's perfect. You get your script, support back behind the scenes. You get everything you need.
Good stuff. So how did you go about approaching trying something new like this? And what role has like the feedback throughout the process of the live coaching calls had on your journey, your learning journey?
It's very bespoke. So obviously we talk about the Q&As that we have every week with James. Very, very, very knowledgeable. And you can learn a lot off James. Got me to stick the most is the support system behind you. When you're learning something new, definitely when it comes to building a business, the information has to be key. I think with me, it's the inspiration of success. If I'm part of a program where I can see big success in people, from making a couple of thousands to multi-millions, that is then giving me the fire inside to be like, I found the right place. I'm in the right place to where I need to go. So that is what I'm going to be surrounding myself with.
Yeah, that's great. I think surrounding yourself with the right people is hugely undervalued and underestimated by a lot of people. They think that they just need the tactics and the strategies, but it's the environment and the culture in which you're doing that stuff that makes a big part of the difference. And it sounds like you're absorbing that like a sponge, which is great. What would you say to someone who's maybe a few steps earlier than you are and they're thinking about jumping into a mentorship program like this and they're just not sure, like they're afraid of making mistakes or will it work? There's a bit of maybe imposter syndrome there. They've never run a business before. They're worried that James and I are AI generated scams on the internet and that we don't actually exist. Like, what do you say to someone like that who is skeptical and nervous?
So life's about taking risks, but like I said, the community are definitely the ones that will pick you back up, and the support from James and you, Lewis, I couldn't recommend it enough.
Awesome. Yeah, no, it's so good to hear, Ashley. Now, for somebody that's maybe a few steps behind you and they're going through the same journey that you went through, Ashley, before you joined, what would you tell them about Dropship Unlocked that gave you the confidence to get started?
Use what you've got to your advantage. Like I said, there's loads of resources, the community, the cheat sheets. Follow it to the book. Stay focused. Do not give up.
That's great to hear, and I'm glad that you're benefiting from not just one part of the program, but I know you're an active member in our live in-person meetups as well. Like you've come to most, if not all, of those, I believe. That's something that most online programs that I'm aware of don't do. What is it that you think about the live in-person meetups that we host for our masterclass members every quarter? What do they bring to the community?
I love meeting new people. That's always been a thing with me. But I also think it's also putting faces behind this digital community that we have. Talking to someone, potentially getting their contacts. You're opening their new doors for potential partnerships down the line.
Yeah, absolutely. And what makes you think then joining Dropship Unlocked has been a worthwhile investment for the members that join and want to succeed quickly? Like why invest in something like Dropship Unlocked? You could piece it all together yourself from YouTube, surely.
YouTube is a great resource, but with DSU, it's straight to the point. It's bespoke. It's in depth. The investment in DSU is definitely a lifelong investment.
So you've approached the business, you've got your business set up, you've got a store built, you've launched ads. What would you say about the mindset that you've approached doing that with that's really helped you?
Everyone helps each other, but I like to give back. I've always been one that likes to help people, support people when needed. And this is what we are, we're a team. The mindset is stay strong, stay active, stay focused, but more importantly, be a team player. I think the skills that you gain, creativity, building confidence, building the foundations of something which is going to definitely give you a better life.
So glad to hear that it's had such a positive impact. And also the way that you approach it and the support that you give in the community doesn't go unnoticed. So thank you very much for the way that you approach it.
Yeah, thank you, Ashley. Thanks for joining us.
No worries. It's been an absolute pleasure. And, well, thank you both for making DSU what it is, because without you guys, there wouldn't be DSU. So credit to you guys as well.
So that was a fantastic conversation there with Ashley. Hopefully you enjoyed that part of the podcast. Do let us know if you'd like to hear from more members, especially around the way that they approach building their businesses. So Lewis, let's wrap up with another mindset trait that we will see very often from our top performers. And I think something that's actually quite underrated, and that is emotional control. But it's very easy to say, hard to implement and hard to actually define. So what does that mean to you, emotional control?
Well, it's exactly that. It's calm, consistent action. It's action regardless of what the results today are saying, because it's that belief and faith that results will come with the right actions. So those people don't panic when things dip. They don't suddenly cut their ads altogether when their ROAS, their return on ad spend, dips slightly. They look at the data, not their emotions. They look at kind of a broad time range of data as well. It's not just one afternoon's ad performance was low, so therefore like every day they throw in the towel and on the whole ad campaign. They stay level-headed with their wins too. They don't get cocky after one sale. They keep building, they're putting money aside, and they take emotion out of decision making. It's just a process. You are just an operator and an owner of that business. There's no drama, no spirals out of control. And so I think that's my definition of emotional control.
Yeah, and it's so important. I mean, when you listen to the recordings that we've done with our most successful members, people like Kit, who's done 879K, he's clearly emotionally under control in that when things are going super well, he stays humble with it and he keeps scaling, keeps learning, keeps growing. And then when things have been quieter times, he's also able to understand that he's just taking data from that situation and optimizing from that position. So yes, he enjoys himself. He took his whole team to Alton Towers when he had a record day. You can enjoy yourself, but at the same time, he approaches it level-headed in the way that you can just keep learning, keep improving. And it's almost got him to £1 million in sales, which I'm sure we'll have to feature him again after he's hit that milestone. But it's super important, something I've had to work on myself. But the more and more I get better at emotional control, the better entrepreneur I become, so I can keep improving even when things are more challenging. So if you've resonated with today's episode, and if you want to learn more about what it takes, and perhaps you're the sort of person that feels anxious or like you need a bit more of a push to get started with a new business, then I'd recommend episode number 142 to queue up after this one. That one's called Overcome Fear and Start Your First Dropshipping Store. So any final thoughts from you, Lewis, about the mindset for the most successful members?
Only that it's the foundation that makes everything else work. You have everything that you need already, but mindset is like the lever that unlocks it. So back yourself, stay calm, trust the process, have that emotional control. And so if you're ready to build your own high-ticket e-commerce business with the support of us and our community, then head over to dropshipunlocked.com/start and we'll walk you through it.
Are you enjoying the podcast? We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment or a review and we might feature it in an upcoming episode. And for detailed show notes and resources, visit dropshipunlocked.com/podcast.
If you found value in any episode of this podcast, please could you take just 10 seconds to leave us a quick 5-star review on your favorite podcast app? It helps us more than you can imagine. And who knows, you might just hear your comments read out on the show. Thanks for being a part of our community. Your support helps us keep delivering new episodes to you every week.
Now, let's answer a question that we've had in from a listener. So remember, if you've had a question that's come up during today's episode, simply comment beneath the YouTube video version of this episode, and we won't just answer it in the comments, we may also feature it in an upcoming episode. So we've had a great question in recently from Yusuf Ibrahim, and Yusuf has asked, does my supplier have to be in the UK, or is it all right to work with US suppliers as well?
Hi, Yusuf. That's a great question. And it kind of depends on whether the supplier has stock in the UK. Now, that's assuming that you're in the UK, you're building your business in the UK, and most importantly, you're serving UK suppliers, because the whole concept of the home turf advantage model is that you want to be able to offer fast, ideally next day delivery to customers. And to do that, the items need to already be in the same country where your customers are. So this means that we can place orders and not have to sort out products going across borders and dealing with import duties and taxes and all the rest of it. We just benefit from fast local deliveries. So it's worth checking out. If you have found a supplier that in the US, ask if they already have stock in the UK. Often they will have a UK distributor and you'll be able to end up working with them and still making the model work nicely.
Fantastic. Yeah, keep us posted, Yusuf, with your work. Clearly built a store already and chosen a niche, so well on your way. Now, let's highlight a recent review that we've had for the podcast. So a big thank you to Mr. Bart C, who's left an Apple podcast review. So thank you very much. Let's read it out now. So Mr. Bart C has said, great advice for aspiring dropshippers. The great thing is that they are UK based and the advice they give is specifically for starting a business in the UK.
Thank you so much for your review, Mr. Bart C. We really appreciate it. And glad to hear that you found value in the fact that it's UK specific methodology. So if you found any value in today's discussion, we'd really appreciate it if you could leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform of choice. It should only take you a few seconds, but it means the world to us. And it just helps us keep the podcast going and releasing more great podcast episodes for you. So please take a few minutes now to leave us a quick review on wherever you're listening to us today. We're always looking to hear your thoughts and we'll try and feature your review in our next episode.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Dropship Unlocked podcast. We hope you are leaving with new insights and inspiration to fuel your entrepreneurial journey.
To kickstart your e-commerce business, head over to dropshipunlocked.com/start. It's the perfect place to start and get access to resources that will help you build your business from the ground up.
And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more episodes packed with strategies, tips, and success stories. Plus, if you enjoyed this episode today, a 5-star review would mean the world to us, and you might even get a shout out on the next episode.
Thank you for choosing to spend your time with us today. We can't wait to bring you more insights on the next episode of the Dropship Unlocked podcast.